Man, vacation is treating me so smooth. Like, school is easy, my days are mostly free, and YouTube isn't punishing me for not being on the clock. It's nice to not have to worry about making a video, especially since there's nothing to really make any content of. Okay, so something happened in the art community again. That's like, what, the third time I've said that on this channel? Come to think of it, every time I make an artlore video, I end up with a new avatar design. I mean, hey, nobody do any more artlore controversies, I actually really like my sprites right now. But yeah, here we are. Another artist doing something bad on the internet, and people are talking about it. And that includes me, because just like everyone, I'm an artist with way too many opinions. So before anything, let me give you a quick overview of some things. If you've seen my videos, you're familiar with artlore. For those who aren't, here's a fast breakdown. Artlore is essentially an artist doing something icky on the internet, mainly TikTok, and other people being quick to hate on that. The closest I can compare it to is someone being unknowingly cringy or weird, and other creators such as Sarah Clay or Mitzi recreating that video with exaggerated details to better portray how crazy the original one is. Some artlore history I can remember off the top of my head is one artist making a drawing with a long skull, later on becoming infamously known as the rendering process incident, and another one is the My Little Pony Human Designs one. I have a video covering that one specifically, so if you want to see a better example of how artlore can affect artists, you should definitely watch that one. And like, while I'm giving myself some promo, feel free to join my Discord server. Since I haven't posted in a few weeks, it's actually kind of dead right now, so if you want, just drop in and say hi, it can help revitalize it just a little bit. It's mainly artists that populate it, and considering that this is an artlore video, you're very likely to be a good fit for this one. It'll be in the description if you're interested. So, back to the main topic. An artist committed the biggest art sin that you could. Doing something controversial on the internet. Yeah, unfortunately, we've gotten to a point where art drama it's just defined as popular people that happen to be artists bickering and fighting. But something kind of rare about this one is that the main drama actually stems from the thing that was drawn. In a sick way, it's almost an achievement. This artist, going by the username Miss4Amon3, made a TikTok using an audio from Teen Titans. I'm just gonna let it play itself rather than explaining it. Hi, it's me back while editing. Let this be a reminder to anyone who makes videos. Always, like while you're writing your script, always download the source of the thing that you're talking about. Because there are 3 specific videos of Nye's that I was going to mention and show in my video because I bring them up. But absolutely everything related to this on Nye's page is now privated. She's trying to make it seem as none of it ever happened. I didn't download any of those videos, so I can't really back up what I'm saying. I have to rip some of these videos from Bray Draws because I straight up can't get them myself. Wayback Machine is ass when it comes to archiving TikTok because it doesn't show the videos. So this is the best I can do, and the rest you're just gonna have to take my word for it. It was just yesterday when these videos were up and now they're not. So yeah, if you do YouTube and this is like 101, download whatever you find immediately because you never know what's gonna happen to it.
Observe, I am a Rorfian Zopgar. On my planet, this...
So, yeah, a bit to unpack here. The joke is obviously, oh, I can't make the same humor that I do with my friends in art school. They just don't get it. However, the drawing here has so much more to say that caused many people to fight them back on it. People were quick to point out that the way these extra characters were depicted was resembling of, well, to put it blunt, soy jacks and stereotypically ugly people. The joke was pointed specifically to those who go to art school, essentially pinning herself as the odd man out that's funny and attractive, whilst others are weird, unfunny, and ugly. Though most of the feedback you'll see now is negative against the original creator, it was originally defended to hell and back. The post has been taken down, but I still remember the majority of the comments on that original video. The main defense was essentially, this is just a joke, it's not about how they look. Or, another defense being, if you went to art school, you would actually know what they mean. So anyways, hi guys, my name is FROMMI'S, also known as B, and I'm an art major. From one studying art to another, let's actually take a deeper dive into this post. So yeah, before I get to delving into my opinions, I want to better categorize and recap everything that's happened. Again, this artist that we will now be referring to as Nai made this post about art school and its humor. Having portrayed art students in this negative light, people were quick to call out how toxic and mean girl this was of her. At this point, the first week or so of the post, it seemed that the majority was in Nai's favor, defending her in the original post she made. It wasn't until another popular artist, both on TikTok and YouTube, known as Zeppy, came in and gave their interpretation of the situation. They made their own art post depicting these characters celebrating their differences and being unified within it, whilst Nai was on her own, seemingly sad. In a long caption, Zeppy explained their take a bit further. They believe that these characters were mocking those with LGBTQ and neurodivergent identities, since this is how those who usually isolate those groups will depict them. Most love this peaceful depiction of these characters, but Zeppy ended up getting a lot of negative feedback for this post as well. They were criticized for taking a simple joke too far, and also claimed that accusing Nai of being homophobic or ableist from one post was too much. From this backlash, Zeppy made an apology and clarification video. They expressed and stood their ground on their thoughts on the post, how these characters were unnecessarily cruel, and mocked those with non-cisgender conforming characteristics. However, Zeppy went on to apologize for making baseless accusations of Nai being homophobic or ableist based on just this. Especially since claiming that an ugly depiction of people means the artist hates neurodivergent and trans people is just an over-convoluted way of saying that you think neurodivergent and trans people are ugly. At least it can come off that way. At this point, Nai was almost relishing in the attention that she was getting. A lot of these posts are gone now because she wanted to move on, as she stated in this post, but I have a decent recollection of the posts that I saw. Most of these were from other people, so take this with the smallest grain of thought in the world. All hearsay could be wrong, but there are a lot of things that are happening right now that make these things from the past seem more probable. As Zeppy apologized, Nai just didn't. Nai stated on Instagram stories, which they seem to do a ton, it's kinda crazy, that they were glad Zeppy was being made to take accountability and apologize. And also around this time, Nai just kept posting over and over on Instagram stories that she wasn't going to address it anymore, or just wanted people to drop the whole thing. And this in itself is fine, wanting to move on from a drama is fine, but it's also the fact that Nai keeps posting on Main, not her stories, about how she's relishing in all of the hate she's getting. Currently, almost everything related to this stuff is privated on Nai's page, again detailed in this post about her wanting to move on. But I have this collection of screenshots where they fight a random poster for calling them out on it. Why are you making this so hard? Thought the discussion was over? Bro, what? I've seen 5 vids of you talking about this when it's already been over, I don't know, it just feels recycled, to be honest. It's a TikTok for other artists to relate to. Non-artists always diss art when they can't even draw. This TikTok has nothing to do with the persona thing, but okay. Self-cist.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is kind of insane, in my opinion. Just a really childish in the aspect that this is the oldest person in this discussion so far, having this sort of mindset and defensiveness when being called out, but too ahead of myself. Another criticism levied at Nai was the way she drew her persona. Self-glazing is a term that I saw getting used everywhere, having drawn the persona like this, when Nai herself looks like this. So, what do I think? Okay, well, I try to be unbiased when I give the recaps, but I think it's already pretty obvious that I'm just not a big fan of the original post. I see a lot of comments saying this is way too big a deal, or that it's been blown out of proportion and it doesn't actually matter. But truthfully, I think it kind of does. So, base view on the original video, I do in fact think that it's insensitive and weird. Drawing yourself objectively pretty when these art student depictions are not, is weird. I get why a lot of people found this offensive to trans and neurodivergent people, but I don't think that was a factor in this post. Whenever people are speaking ill of those groups, this is a way that you will see them depicted. However, I think that's more so because this is what's considered weird, and to a lot of people, trans and neurodivergent folks are weird. I think it's completely fair to criticize it if you find it offensive to those specific groups, but I personally wasn't getting that energy. Hi, he's a second editor update. I actually found out recently that Nai said herself that she did base those caricatures off of Soyjax and Wojax. At least allegedly. Soyjax, Wojax, their purpose is to be offensive. At least a lot of them are, like the one on screen here. So, for all I care, yeah, this is offensive to those specific minorities. If anything, I just think this is more so making fun of art students. I see all the time people from certain minorities making themselves out to be the good one. This can be in the queer community, neurodivergent people, and anywhere really. There will always be a person that sees their community being hated, and wants the admiration from those hateful people. With this case, I don't really see Nai as any different. Art majors are always seen down upon because people see its pursuit as frivolous, as something that will only end in poverty and waste. Because of this, many see art students as weirdos who haven't grown up yet and are still just kind of cringy. I can say, as an art student myself, it's always disheartening for my peers to judge me based on my educational career, and I'm sure Nai feels the same way. However, as someone in that situation, I rather seek comfort from the people who understand that judgment rather than those who make it. Nai is an art student, so she's no better than any cringy student who majors in it. However, she doesn't want to live without that distinction, and that's why this post was made. And just so you don't get it wrong, these are the bad ones. The overly fat, overly thin, too tall, and simply weird ones. It doesn't matter if this wasn't the main intent in Nai, because this is what was made. This joke could have been told perfectly with just 3 normal depictions of people, even stick figures, and it would have landed. But these aren't doodles as she claims. These are purposeful caricatures. When people say that she's self-glazing, I do understand what they're saying, but it's also like, yeah, name an artist that doesn't do that. It's a running joke with artists to draw yourself just way more attractive than you are. Why do you think my sprites are so different from each other? The one that I have now is the closest to how I actually look, but it's nowhere near to how I actually do. I'm bigger, I'm kinda awkwardly sized, I have pimples, and my hair is not nearly as flawless as my sprites make it seem. However, I draw myself this way because I just like being a cutie patootie. I mean, I already am one in real life, but a teeny bit slimming and green eyes and freckles just doesn't hurt anyone. It's just senseless fun to draw yourself all dolled up. That's why I don't really agree whenever people are trying to say that Nai is the ugly art kid. Because, like, that's such a horrible way to view the discussion. We shouldn't be calling anyone ugly. I thought that's why we were criticizing her at all. It's so counterproductive and redundant to criticize over something that so many artists do. And calling her ugly? Do you even care about what she's doing to other people if you're gonna do the same thing to her? That's just my way of seeing it. With Zeppy, I really hate that they were made to apologize at all. They made a post that made it overall just way more positive to look out. Still calling out Nai, but overall positive. Them being made out to be this sensitive artist that was forced to apologize is just awful. How can you seriously think that's the way things were meant to go? Zeppy from most angles here actually hit it dead on the coffin, but was somehow made to seem like they were wrong. And it was incredibly upsetting to see how so many artists act as if they were directing hate to an innocent and small artist. Very often, people use their big platforms to send hate to smaller creators, but this wasn't like that at all. Zeppy saw someone in the art community being cruel, and as an artist themselves called it out. I don't see why people think it's wrong to do that just because Zeppy happens to have an audience. As I mentioned before, and I like to do this mainly as a joke on my channel, I'm an art major. I'm actually an art major. Fun fact, I'm actually an art major. Not a lot of people really know this about me, but I'm actually an art major. I go to school with a lot of art students because that's just who I'm around most of the time. Whenever I saw these comments saying that these are the people that you will see in art school, well, it's true. You will see a lot of people like this in art school. And there's also a lot of art majors that are conventionally attractive. You'll see a ton that seem perfect, but you'll meet a ton that are also awkwardly shaped. Too tall, too short, face proportions a little bit off, and all of that. But at the end of the day, these people are some of the funniest and lively and welcoming people that you will ever meet. Because at the end of the day, somehow, art is one of the most diverse worlds to ever meet people from. Art school includes people whose creativity is unmatched. The reason they would be able to profit in this field. That's why we look so different from each other. That's why we all express ourselves in wacky and fun ways. This is what we do. We have the power to convey thoughts and emotions with visuals, sometimes with absolutely no words. That's why we're bound to look so odd. Our entire career and pursuits are based on being different. Trying to bring shame to that form of living is insane. Nai is 21, which means there's a decent chance that she's a senior in art school. And if not, at the very least, she's had this semester that she's studying right now in art school. Not knowing at this point how extraordinary and unique the students around you will be is ignorance on your own part. At the end of the day, every piece of art that you make is a statement. Related to this, I saw an artist talk about it pretty well online, stating that all art in itself is political. You hear this a lot when studying art history, and that's because it's true. Humans are such diverse and opinionated people. We create the world and environment around us based on what we believe. The most influential people to how we live are poets and philosophers, those who use their words to describe what we as people truly are. The third closest to that is artists, people who use other mediums to describe the world rather than words. And this is where all art stems from, stating how we used to hunt with visuals, the things we believe in, the changes we want to see, all of it at the end of the day. Everything we draw is for a reason. Yes, even if you're drawing a reference sheet for your original character, it's still political in the sense that this is a character made of your beliefs. They are wearing clothes that you believe to be appropriate to this character's backstory and culture and everything. They have features that you believe their ethnicity would have. You're making color decisions based on what you think people enjoy. All of it. It's from a political aspect, even if just a little bit. When you make this post with this joke stating that art school students look this way and act this way, you're making this statement out loud. Every piece of art has a purpose based on what you believe. And this post shouts without a doubt that this is what you believe about students who study the exact same as you. So, final thoughts on it? In a way, yes, Nai, you are the odd man out. You are the one student that isn't like any other art student. Art majors are known to be some of the nicest and most creative people, and you have somehow managed to be one of the few that isn't either. Oh, and by the way, being nasty towards Zeppi for making allegations against you for being homophobic and ableist makes you look really fucking stupid in retrospect after you use slurs against those specific minorities. That's all. If you watched to this point, thank you. I've been on hiatus for a while now, and I've been hoping I could make a video during it. I was on hiatus because I'm back in college, and I'm taking like a bunch of art classes, but more importantly, like biology, psychology, all of that really boring stuff that I'm way too stupid at to dedicate a lot of time to video production. So, since this video is just opinion, I figured it'd be really easy to talk about and make the I hit something. I figured it'd be easy to talk about and make this video while I'm still in classes. As I mentioned before, like, don't harass anyone over this. It's not the point I want to make. Bringing anyone hate is the reason that any of this started, so just be the bigger person and leave it alone. If you disagree or just have a unique take, let me know. I'm really curious to see how others perceive the situation, and I'm always down to have a respectful conversation about it, so you can either do that in my Discord or in the comments. And if not, just thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video that releases within the year. Bye!
Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo. Take off the sandal, pay 5 days stay, take a put a meal, hella value. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the iPad. Take off the allure, take off the unsure, take off decisions I had.